guys, welcome back. Talking with Chief Devon Wells, Fire Chief out of Hood River. And we started the show talking a little bit about the Lyle fire. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about some of the other fires in the area. The one that really sticks out in my mind is, I think they called it the microwave tower fire, which was the Mosier fire, also known as. What are some of the other significant fires that you guys have had to face through the years? And is it me, or has it been actually increasing over, I've been here since the 80s.
Sure.
And it seems like there seems to be more fires happening.
It does seem like that. You know, in the last 5 years or so, there's been some pretty substantial fires in the gorge area. You know, with the microwave fire was a big one that everybody knows about because it's just recently in 2009. A year before that, we had what was called the Hope Fire in downtown Hood River, 27 acres within the city limits. The year before that, we had what's called the Frankton Fire, which is another 30 acres inside the city limits. You know, and there's the Mount Hood Fire, the Gnarl Ridge Fire up on the mountain in Mount Hood National Forest. Those fires are very prominent and very, very big in people's minds. And there's been 2 Chynoweth fires here in the Dalles area, and a large fire just last month in the Juniper Flats and Maupin area.
So is there actually an increase, or is it just coincidence that these fires have?
You know, I think
it has anything to do with more people being here now?
You know, I don't know. I don't know if it's actually an increase in fires or if it's an increase in the ability for people to know that there's a fire going on. You know, we've always had fires in this area, and we average a large fire every year or so, and somewhere in the gorge area. It just happens that, you know, we've had them now in populated areas, and when you have fire in a populated area,
it gets a lot more attention. Yeah.
You know, so a fire out in the middle of the forest somewhere, yeah, people see it, they see the big plume, and they say, you know, man, it's burning a lot of forest out there, but it doesn't affect their lives.
Okay.
When you have a fire burning into a community, which has happened now the last 3 years, that gets people's attention.
Yeah. Well, firefighters, this was something that was mentioned to me when I was being briefed for the show, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? That's true. Firefighters are very trusted. I mean, people will, you know, not let go of their baby to maybe another family member, but a firefighter's there, they hand the child right over. So what do you think it is? Because I was trying to think about it. I don't know why. I just know it's safe. Yeah. You know, are you guys trained in, or is that just something that's been ingrained into the public's mind to trust firefighters?
I think both. I think both. Firefighters are very well trained. They're highly trained, and if they get trained in the medical side of things, they're very high trained in how to take care of medical emergencies. Firefighters, since they started in the United States over 200 years ago, have been a very integral part of a community and seen as the heroes of a community. And that's a thing we always try to say. We're not heroes because we're trained to do this. It's our job. A hero is someone that goes above and beyond what they normally do. We're trained to do this. It's our job. It's our profession. If you're a volunteer or a paid person, you're still trained. That's what we do. And I think the community trusts us, and it's something that we as firefighters take very seriously about being trusted. And the story I was telling you about the baby is very, very true. I mean, a mom is very protective of her child, especially when they're sick. And they'll call 911, and a firefighter or an ambulance attendant will show up, and the baby is automatically handed over to us. You take care of my baby. And that trust is huge.
Yeah.
And so we live with that 24 hours a day. And on or off duty, we need to remember that there's public trust out there. Off
duty. So are you guys trained then to be very conscious of your conduct, you know, when you're off the clock or outside of the firehouse?
Very much so. I don't know if it's necessarily training, but it's a pride in your occupation, a pride in the profession of firefighting. And when we're on the clock, obviously we're in uniform. People expect us to be very professional acting, to be polite and to talk nicely and to do the things correct. When we're off duty, maybe we're just wearing plain clothes, but they still know we're firefighters. Mm-hmm. We're a small community. People know who the firefighters are in their community. And you'll see headlines all over the nation that a firefighter gets a speeding ticket or gets a drunk driving ticket or something happens when they're off duty. And the first thing it says is, firefighter charged with DUI. They were off duty. They weren't representing the fire department at all, but they're given that title.
Right.
So firefighters 24 hours a day are seen as someone that is respected in the community and needs to be They're held to the higher esteem.
Yeah, so that title's always with you regardless.
It is, luckily.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the opportunity to be representing the fire service all the time.
Cool. So, well, you even have a story, I think it was back east somewhere, where a neighbor that I believe you and your wife didn't even know.
Oh, yeah.
And they were leaving town or something, and she came, what was the story there?
I have a friend that's a fire chief in Louisville, Texas.
Okay.
And he took the chief's job in Louisville, it was quite a while ago, and they were new in the community, moved right in there. He had moved from Idaho and moved into the community and had his fire chief's car parked in the driveway, and they'd only been in the community for a couple weeks. And a neighbor came over and said, "Here's the keys to my house, can you watch our house?" She's like, the wife didn't even know who they were, and she said, "Why are you giving me the keys?" And she said, "Well, you're the fire chief's wife, right? If you're the fire chief's wife, we can trust you with our house." They didn't even know each other.
Wow.
And so it's an interesting story. And
Yeah.
Chief Lasky from Louisville is a nationally known representative of the fire service and very well respected. And he tells that story about pride and honor and integrity and how we live our lives always. And it doesn't matter where you're at. The fire department is a trusted source of public relations.
Right. And your mission, your goal is you're here to serve the public. I even heard it put that taxpayers essentially are paying for this service, and so you encourage folks, obviously with, use a little common sense, hopefully, but to call you guys. And if there's something else, what would be the types of things outside of a fire maybe that they should call you, and what would be the appropriate way to do it?
If it's not an emergency, if there's something that's causing immediate life damage to you, or threat to the structure, or threat to the environment, or those kind of threats, immediate threats, you call 911, and you're going to get the appropriate response. The 911 dispatcher is releasing law enforcement, or else in the fire department, or an ambulance, whatever it is that you need. But if there's other questions you have, or you're having a problem with things, and everybody laughs about the whole cat in a tree.
Yeah.
And we get those calls, and call us. Call a station, whatever station you live next to. You can call that fire station directly, or come by and see us. If you have questions about car seats, you have questions about a bike helmet not fitting right, any kinds of those types of questions with safety in mind, that's what we're here for. We're here to answer all those questions and to help you out in any situation.
Well, Chief Wells, thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's great to have a little more education about this sort of thing. So do appreciate your time.
Excellent.
Hey, you guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Localite. John Compton here saying thanks again for watching. And remember, if you've got a guest idea, let us know. Just visit localite.com.